Does McLaren actually have a back-to-back winning championship caliber team with two championship caliber drivers, or did they just manage to build a rocket ship at the right time? Because those are two very different things. This whole weekend was frankly an abysmal performance from the entirety of the team. Not only did we see Oscar Piastri have his first very genuinely bad weekend in a long time, we also saw Lando Norris fail to capitalize on that, and we saw the team itself not really be able to run a good race. This is the second race weekend in a row that we've seen Lando Norris's pit stops be so bad, but both of those pit stops were pivotal to a better performance in both of those races. And we know in Monza it actually ended up with this awkward team order situation to swap the cars. On top of that, we have Oscar coming into this weekend having shaky form throughout, tapping the barriers in practice, ultimately going into the wall in qualifying and in the very first lap of the race. And for the championship leader to not only be sitting next to a Coca-Cola machine waiting to be picked up during qualifying, but also to have to watch the majority of the race sitting on a barrier with his feet up watching on an iPhone. It's not what you're hoping to see from this championship fight. And I think objectively, the fact that this weekend we're seeing Max Verstappen's numbers put up against Lando's and Oscar's as though he's still in contention for the title is a concerning thing when we talk about these drivers really earning a championship. Last year, McLaren had the best car on track, and that was by a mile. But when we talk about a championship caliber driver, you see someone like Max Verstappen who is able to pull a car that is not the best in the field across the finish line and take home a fourth title. We have two drivers who have the best car on track, and we see two different stories here. Oscar, who's been leading the championship, maybe was due for a pretty bad mistake. A false start off the line that drops him back into 20th, and then an inability to fight from the back of the field given that he's never really had to do that. Oscar didn't ever drive for a team that wasn't doing well. He came straight into McLaren, and his second season in, we have the best car on track and they win the title. It's tough to watch the very first time he is faced with the back of the field, him go right into the barrier and end his own race. And what's even tougher is to watch Lando Norris not be able to capitalize on two major opportunities to make up some of these points. Yesterday, we needed to see him at the top of the timesheets in qualifying. He wasn't there. He ends up only 7th, while his teammate who went into the barrier ends up 9th. And then in the race today, we never see him capitalize on the fact that his championship rival is out of the race. And followed by a bad pit stop from a team that only had one driver on track. We see Max Verstappen, again, a 4-time world champion, run a Grand Slam in this race. And so when we look at the point standings and we see that not only are Oscar and Lando only 25 points apart now, Max has clawed his way back into a 46-point difference between him and Lando. And while that's still a major point difference, and I think a lot of the conversation about Max being back in the fight is just about having kind of something to talk about, McLaren having a weekend like this and putting Max even within spitting distance of the championship is pretty shocking. This weekend kind of made me wonder, does Max smell blood in the water? And when a champion like him does, what does that mean for the rest of the season?